Hello everybody, my name is Jennifer Maker. It's a beautiful day to show you how to make and decorate these wine gift bags on the Great Maker Show and Tell. Bottles of wine are like gift cards. They're easy to give, but they often don't feel very personal as you're giving them. That's why I designed so many gift card holders. And it's high time we made a wine bottle holder too. These wine bottle gift bags are simple to sew and decorate, and I'm going to show you how to do both in today's video. Now, you don't have to sew these wine bottle bags, but it's really easy to do, and I'm going to show you how. Of course, if you'd rather just buy the bags, I've got a link to some that are the right size below this video. To sew the wine bags, you need a 12-inch by 16-inch piece of white or off-white cotton duck canvas, just like this, or go for a whole yard, which will make 6 gift bags. You also need all-purpose thread and 28 inches of ribbon. I'm using gross grain ribbon here. You also need a way to sew this. You can, of course, sew this bag by hand with needle and thread, or you can use a sewing machine. I will show you how to sew it with this beginner sewing machine that I absolutely adore. Other useful tools for sewing the bags include a washable fabric pen, quilting pins, thread snips, and an iron or an EasyPress. Now to decorate the bags, we're using iron-on vinyl, also known as heat transfer vinyl. I'm using red, green, black, as well as silver and gold glitter, but you can use any colors you want. Last but not least, you need the sewing pattern and the fun bag sayings. I've prepared 4 designs for you to use. We've got cheers, eat, drink, and be merry, mama juice, and it's the most wonderful wine of the year. So I'm going to show you where to find these, and then I'm going to show you how to sew and apply the iron-on vinyl to your wine gift bags. Step 1, get the pattern and designs. Download the sewing pattern and decal designs from my blog at jennifermaker.com/274. Just go to the red bar at the top and look for libraries. Then either click Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. You can find the files by searching the page for Design 274 and then click it to download SVG cut files for cutting with a Cricut or another cutting machine, as well as a printable PDF for cutting by hand. Step 2, cut your fabric and vinyl. Let me show you how to cut both the fabric and vinyl for your wine gift bags on a Cricut cutting machine. First, upload the SVG cut file that you downloaded in Step 1 to Cricut Design Space. If you're unsure how to unzip and upload SVG files, please watch my SVGs Made Simple training series at jennifermaker.com/SVGs. For this project, I've included 2 SVG patterns, one with seam allowance markings, which works with the fabric pen, and one without. And you can use whichever one you like. Now, if you want to cut your fabric on your Cricut Explorer or Maker, definitely check out my guide on how to cut fabric with Cricut at jennifermaker.com/CricutFabric. Here's what the SVG cut file for a cutting machine will look like once you've uploaded it to Cricut Design Space. And here's what it looks like when you zoom out. If you're using the file with seam allowances and you have a fabric marking pen, here's what you need to do. First, ungroup everything. Next, click on Draw under the Layers panel on the right side of the screen, and then click where you see a question mark next to the word Draw at the top of the screen. Now click on the arrow pointing down next to Fine Point, and scroll down and choose Marker, and then select Blue Washable Fabric. That's how you set your fabric marking pen. Now it's time to pick the SVG saying for your tote. For this tutorial, I'm going to use the Eat, Drink, and Be Merry SVG. To hide the other SVGs, simply click on the eye icon next to each one, and this will hide the layers so that they don't cut. Here's what you should end up with, and when you're ready, click Make It. If you don't want to use the SVG that includes the marked pattern with the fabric pen, choose the unmarked pattern SVG. Just make sure that when you sew to leave a seam allowance of 1/4 inch along the side and bottom. Step 3, cut out your wine gift bags and vinyl. Here's what everything looks like on the next screen in Cricut Design Space. First, click OK at the top to continue with the larger mat. This will be the pink mat used for fabric. Next, select Mirror for all 3 mats with the words, since this is an iron-on decal. Now here's a great time-saving tip. Instead of using 3 separate mats to cut the vinyl, you can move all of the cuts to the same mat and only cut once. Here's what you do. First, go to Mat 3 and click on the design. Now click on the 3 blue dots at the top left and select Move Object. On the next screen, click on the first mat and confirm. The object you move will be at the top of the other design on Mat 1, so click and drag the new object to the top right corner. Now, on the left, click on Mat 4. Once again, click on Move Object. On the next screen, click on the first mat and confirm. And move that design down to the bottom left and click Continue. All right, so now that we've done that, here's how to place the vinyl on the mat so you can do this all in one cut. First, make sure your vinyl is shiny side down because we're working with iron-on vinyl. Then choose your material and pressure setting. I use both Everyday Iron-On Vinyl and Glitter Iron-On, so I selected this Glitter Iron-On and more pressure because that would cut out both types, right? Now make sure you have your fine point blade selected and loaded in clamp B. Load your mat and hit the C button, the flashing button, to cut. And that's how you cut your vinyl. All right, so now let's cut the fabric. First, you're going to need to change your material in Design Space. Make sure the second mat is selected and click on the arrow down button over on the right. And on the next screen, type duck into the search bar and select duck cloth. And choose more pressure. Make sure you have the right tools in your machine before you load the mat. You want the blue fabric pen in clamp A, if you're using one, of course, and the rotary blade in clamp B. Now load your fabric mat into your Cricut Maker to cut it. After all the cuts are complete, remove all of your materials from the mat, weed your vinyl, and set everything aside. Step 4. Assemble your wine bags. Now to show you how easy this is to do, my design elf will assemble this project while I talk you through it. Now this is the fun part. It's time to sew. This is really easy. Here's what the cut fabric looks like if you use the fabric pen to mark the 1/4 inch seam allowance. First, fold down the top 1/4 inch. Then fold again about 1 inch and pin in place. You can iron this as well to get a nice crisp crease if you want. And then sew along the bottom of the fold. Then fold the fabric in half and press lengthwise. You can use an iron or a Cricut EasyPress for this. Now add your ribbon. I chose red, but you can choose whatever color you like. My ribbon is about 28 inches long and 1 inch wide. Pinch it in half and then pin it in place 3 inches down from the top, just like this. Pin the other end down as well to keep it out of the way during sewing. Now fold your fabric in half so you can see the markings from the fabric pen and sew along the seam allowance, which is 1/4 inch from the side and bottom. Do not sew the bottom corner cutouts. To create the bottom of the tote, pinch the bottom cutouts together like this and sew each side together about 1/4 inch from the seam. Now reach inside and pull your wine tote right side out. See, isn't that super cool? Step 5, decorate your wine bags. Now that you've got your wine bag all sewn up, or you're using one that you bought, it's time to decorate it. You can use a Cricut EasyPress or an iron to attach the iron-on vinyl to your wine bag. Now, since I chose the Eat, Drink, and Be Merry SVG that has multiple layers and colors, I'm going to iron on 1 layer of vinyl at a time, starting with the green layer. If you need help on how to layer iron-on vinyl, I recommend you check out jennifermaker.com/layering vinyl. That's a whole tutorial on how to layer iron-on vinyl successfully. The key with layering iron-on vinyl is to always keep the vinyl covered by a carrier sheet. So as you do subsequent layers, you're not actually pressing your iron or your EasyPress directly against the layers of vinyl that you've already done. And then you'll also want to avoid overheating your bottom layers. Now you'll want to follow the Cricut heat guide at jennifermaker.com/easypress for your specific material, but if you use the same materials and vinyl as I did, you can press each layer at 270 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 seconds each. This is a very simple project, very fast and easy to do, and you're going to love it. Step 6, show it off. You did it! It is just so cute, and it really wasn't that difficult. These adorable wine totes are the perfect pairing for a great bottle of wine, and they make an excellent gift for any occasion. Cheers! These wine gift bags are the best gifts. And remember, you can use them for things besides wine bottles. You can do sparkling juice, fancy bottles of wine, or how about giving your favorite crafter a few rolls of vinyl and one of these beauties, right? So these are just great gift bags in general. If you have any questions about how to sew or apply vinyl to canvas, I would love to help. Leave your question below this video or ask in our Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/CricutCrafters, where you can get advice and ideas from a wonderful community of crafters. I also have a sewing group as well if you are looking for help on how to sew. And if you need a Cricut cutting machine, I give one away every month. You can enter for your chance to win your own Cricut cutting machine at jennifermaker.com/Cricut giveaway. And that's it for today. Tomorrow, I'll be back to show you how to make a wine bottle serving tray for all of these wine bottles that you'll be getting for your bags. So remember, I'm always interested in your project ideas. If you can tell me what you want to make, I can show you how to make it. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.